Krishna. On behalf of the Nuraman Reiki Temple and community, we'd like to offer a few prayers for Syamali Devi's memorial.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. A couple of housekeeping announcements. If you'd like to speak, please log on to Zoom. The link is on your Alatra Temple Facebook and in the YouTube chat area. If you will not be speaking, then you may continue watching on Facebook and YouTube to allow room for Zoom for those who would like to speak. Zoom participants, remember to keep yourself muted until you're called upon. If you would like to speak, you can either raise your hand by tapping your name in the participants and selecting raise hand, or you can text in the chat box. Okay, thank you. So we're ready to begin. Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashkate Adeshatarine Panchakalpatrivascha Kripasindhuva Evacha Patitana Bhavaneve Vaishnavevya Namo Namaha. On behalf of New Ramanreti community, I would like to welcome all of you this evening to celebrate Her Grace Syamali Devi Dasi's life, who left us suddenly 11 days ago. Suddenly because she was diagnosed with terminal cancer a few months ago and is gone before we even had time to fully accept the reality of her illness. We would like to express our deepest condolences to her spiritual father, His Holiness Indradumna Swami, to her good husband, Bhishmadev Das, who cared for Syamali lovingly with unwavering enthusiasm, to her father, Yamunapati Das, her mothers, Parashakti Devi Dasi and Jayashree Devi Dasi, and to her siblings, Janaki and Ajita Devi Dasis. Syamali was a pure-hearted soul. She was thoughtful, courageous, soft-hearted, talented, dedicated to her spiritual life, polite, and always had a smile on her face, regardless of what life dished out to her. Her end of life journey has inspired and transformed thousands of hearts across the world. We have a special guest this evening. So without further ado, I would like to introduce His Holiness Indradumna Swami, Syamali's beloved Guru Maharaj, who was so personal with Syamali before, but with greater intensity during her illness. He called her daily, read to her, and gave his love and support through this difficult time. We really appreciate your love. Now we will be hearing Indradumna Swami's recorded video he sent for Syamali. There's no sound.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pashtajade Shatarane. For this memorial, I've written a letter actually to my beloved disciple Syamali Dasi, which I'll read off of my computer. My dearest Syamali Dasi, please accept my blessings. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm writing this letter to you with faith that through the transcendental medium, my loving words will find you. My dear spiritual daughter, I'm intensely feeling your separation. During the last months of your life, I watched with profound admiration as you passed life's final tests with dignity and grace. From the initial report that revealed your advanced stage of cancer to the moment you departed this world, you were peaceful and composed, proving to everyone your deep faith in the process of Krishna consciousness. Yes, there were moments when the enormity of the situation overwhelmed you, but upon hearing transcendental knowledge from me and those who surrounded you, you would always exhibit a peace and tranquility that amazed me. In the midst of your endeavor, you wrote to me, quote, "My dear spiritual master, you are now guiding me with spiritual knowledge and love through the greatest transition we will all face, namely preparation for leaving this material body. You have kindly instructed me to be fearless and detached from the body while fixing my mind on the next destination," unquote. If nature takes its general course and one leads a pious life, a person can expect to live up to an advanced age of 70 or even 80 years. That much time is generally required to successfully finish the course of Krishna consciousness and graduate from this world. But you, Syamali, seem to have come close to completing the curriculum before even a third of your life had passed. I feel you accomplished this because you took full advantage of all the blessings you received. You wrote to me not long before you left, quote, "Dear Srila Gurudev, you have helped me to reflect on how Krishna has given me the greatest blessings in this life. Your shelter, devotional service, the association of devotees, prasadam, and the holy names," unquote. My dear Syamali, I was deeply impressed by how you accepted your disease without regret and how you resigned yourself to fate. Even better, you saw your disease as Krishna's mercy. This mature attitude in one so young must have certainly touched the Lord's heart. As such, we can only imagine what was your final destination. A quote from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 10. A devotee who is not perfectly freed from the resultant actions should, therefore, continue to act in Krishna consciousness seriously, even though there may be so many impediments. When such impediments arise, he should simply think of Krishna and expect his mercy. That is the only solace. If the devotee passes his days in that spirit, it is certain that he is going to be promoted to the abode of the Lord. By such activities, he earns his claim to enter into the kingdom of God, unquote. During your illness, I called you many times and offered you advice on how to face your final challenge. I always looked forward to those calls because I knew you took whatever I said to heart. There's no greater satisfaction for a spiritual master than when his disciple accepts with full faith what he says and acts without hesitation on those instructions. I knew you had that Guru Nishta, faith in the Guru, when you wrote to me, quote, "Dear Srila Gurudev, your words and guidance bring me so much peace. Indeed, Lord Krishna describes in Bhagavatam, simply by the grace of the spiritual master, a person can fulfill life's purpose and attain eternal peace." Quoted Srimad Bhagavatam 10:80-43, unquote. Syamali, how wonderful it was that Lord Krishna, the master of all mystics, arranged that I was able to phone you and chant into your ear the holy names as you took your last and final breath. I feel very fortunate to have you as a disciple. My duty has always been to bring you to the lotus feet of our beloved Srila Prabhupada. He is the master at whose feet all masters sit. I pray he will always watch over and protect you until we meet again. Know for certain that the relationship between the Guru and disciple is eternal and is never limited by time and distance. Today, on the occasion of your memorial, so many devotees are missing you. No doubt this is because you were the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, and the perfect friend. And I will add that you were the perfect disciple as well. I miss you, Syamali. I remain now and forevermore your ever well wisher.
Thank you, Indradivana Swami. It's very lovely. Thank you. Next, we would like to call upon Bhishmadev Prabhu, his Shamali's beloved husband, to speak, please. Bhishmadev Prabhu, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dear
Krishna.
devotee. I'd like to start by introducing my parents. Here, this is John and Luann Derrick, who've come down to support me through this time. And I'd like to just extend my deep gratitude to all of you, as I had expressed of all the services that I cherished through this time and through our life together. Begging for your prayers was my favorite and most important, I felt. Thank you all. I did write an offering. I wasn't planning to read it, but having had two memorials, I would be happy to read it. I'd written it to Syamali as a letter, and it goes like this. I love you, darling. I'm gonna miss you. I do miss you. You were and continue to be the answer to my prayers. I always wanted to know you, to meet you, to love you, to be loved by you, knowing that you trusted me fully with your whole heart. Growing up, we both would dream of having such a special love. Having waited so long, we questioned whether such a partner even existed. But Krishna provides in the best way for us at just the right time. In our search, we found that and so much more. We found our path together. We found true love together. We found our call to service. From my first letter to you, I warmly welcomed you to share yourself with me. And that you did. Little did I know the full impact that love would have on me. The adventures we would have, the laughter, the tears, the prasadam, the growth in different ways. Little did I know you would be the first to exit, and that it would be so beautiful and so auspicious. I couldn't have planned it better, any of it, our coming together, our journey throughout, and now with your departure. Your passing, as hard as it has been and will be to accept, was the most beautiful moment of my life, a samskar or memory that I will cling to very tightly. In the moments leading up to your passing, I happened to be closely monitoring your breathing. And in that moment, your breath wasn't followed by another breath. Alerting your family, I immediately got on the phone with your beloved Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Indradivana Swami. Despite it being in the middle of the night for him in Vrindavan, India, he quickly jumped from bed and began chanting to you, even having not taken a breath for a full minute or more. As soon as the chanting of your spiritual master touched your ears, you miraculously reanimated for a few more breaths. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You were blessed to hear your spiritual master and family chanting to you the holy names of God as you painlessly and graciously departed like the true goddess of fortune that you are. Your Guru Maharaj instructed you that the time had come for you to go ahead and make preparations for him in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan. All glories to your loving service, which has always been your life and soul. I am so proud of you, Boo. We shared plenty of tears together in the initial shock and acceptance of your diagnosis, all the plans and service we had hoped to share together, to start a family, to see their chubby faces, wispy ginger hair, and cute little noses and pale skin, perfect for sunburns. We wanted that service together. You would have been the best mama. Instead, you are guiding us like a mother even now, teaching all of us how to surrender to the Lord's often mysterious and always better plan for us. I have seen how your departure has helped so many of us to make preparations in our lives as well, in our focus, in our goals and planning towards our eventual departure. You never complained during all of this process. Your heart fixed from the moment you heard that there was no scope for remission or surgical intervention from the cancer. You had immediately resolved, Bas, this body is finished. You had heard your calling, and by the loving compassion and ongoing guidance from your Guru Maharaj, you were set. And when the time had come, you weren't afraid. You weren't in pain. You were ready for this final journey to embrace our Lord and your next service and situation. Your family, friends, and global community are inspired by you. I am inspired by you. On your death certificate, despite knowing that it would make you blush, I lovingly put your occupation as a practitioner and guide within the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And that you are our guide. You are my guide, always have been and always will. Thank you. I love you, Devi. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Bhishmadev Prabhu, for your very heartfelt letter. And thank you for being such a loving and attentive husband to Syamali. And thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Derek, for being present. Thank you. Next, we will call upon Yamuna Patidas. He is Syamali's father. He would like to invite you to speak, please. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I think you just set the signal. Did I get it okay?
Yes, you're there. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I wanted to, first of all, just, extend my, I'm reflecting, more and more. And it's a fact that, from the get-go, in my letter to Syamali, I'm just so grateful to Srila Prabhupada, to Indrajunda Swami, to Bhishma, her dear husband, and to all the devotees here in the beautiful Alachua community. I'll name a few. I know, like Mother Mukhya and Vaikunta and Janavi, Chadaratma and Pashupati, and so many friends and close associates that I couldn't name them all, but devotees there in the community and devotees from around the world that have extended their love and prayers for our dear Syamali and been there in so many ways to support. It's just been actually astounding and so heartwarming. So I really appreciate the outpouring of love for our dear Syamali, and I wanted to thank all of you for that. I've got a couple things here. Syamali's mother, Parashakti, she's not able to get online right now. So I was going to read a poem she wrote for Syamali first, and then I'll do my letter to Syamali. Is that okay?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, and this is, the title is From Mata, a poem for Syamali. This is from Parashakti Devi Dasi. Dearest soul, Syamali Dasi, it was my pleasure to serve you when you were so small. so many changes your body went through in time overall. After working hard for success in this world, you saw it was about as dependable as a ripped curl. Fritiviti ache yadi, nagaradi gram. How you love to tell others about Krishna and sing in Hari Nam. I wish I could have done better in my mother's role. I tried to depend on Krishna since I knew he was really in control. My thanks to all your mentors who helped you on your way, especially Indradumna Swami, whom I can never repay. I pray that Lord Chaitanya may bless this very sweet soul and engage her in his service 1,000,000 trillion fold. Please forgive my offenses at the dust of your feet. May Krishna make our Bhakti Lata grow until it is complete. So that was a poem from our mother who took, very much loving care for our dear Syamali throughout her whole life.
Thank you.
Sure. No, I was glad to be able to do that. And then I've got a letter here that I wanted to read. Missing our dear Syamali. Dear Syamali, I am missing you so much since you have left us here. It was so hard on my heart the day we came to know some months back that you would have to leave us soon. There had been times of tears along with times of joy in being with you since that day when you and Bhishma called to let me know that your body was afflicted with the stage 4 cancer. Stage 4 meaning that there was no cure and that there would be no turning back. Hearing this was so painful for my heart and was a time for tears for me and for all of us. As far as joy, you have always been a source of happiness from the day you came into our lives. With your birth, we celebrated your arrival by distributing prasadam, laddu cigars, laddu sweets in the shape of a cigar to hand out to friends in our new Govardhan community. Thus, from your very birth, Syamali, you were involved with prasadam distribution. From your birth and through your whole life, you have been nothing but a loving blessing given to us by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Sri Radha Giridhari. I've held you so close to my heart in my being able to spend so much time with you for the last few months of your life and remembering so much about you and all that we got to share together in service and in so many other ways with family, with you and Bhishma, and with our friends in this lifetime. These memories bring tears as you are no longer with us, but they also bring solace. So many sweet memories, and all of these memories of you keep you very close within my heart. Throughout the last months you had been with us, my only loving desire, as was the loving desire of your spiritual master and guide Indradumna Swami, your dear husband Bhishma, your family, friends, and all those who know you, was for us to be able to be there in whatever way we possibly could to serve and support you as you prepared for your departure from this world. By Krishna's grace, after discussing with you and Bhishma how to make it happen, we made arrangements to come out to Florida to be there with you and to help care for you. During this time with you, we were all amazed by the outpouring of love, prayers, and support from family, friends, and well-wishers that came to you on a daily basis from around the world. And I was just going to stop real quick, but that Bhishma, he was like throwing out a net he's so expert with, the technical aspects of utilizing the computer and Facebook and connecting, that he was reaching out so much, and so many individuals were coming back with love and prayers to support our dear Syamali. So it was so amazing and so wonderful. One evening, while you were resting, we were discussing the responsibilities we had in caring for you. With Bhishma taking the lead as your dear husband, we each had our part to play in ensuring that you were cared for with all-day readings, Krishna Kirtan and bhajans, preparing light prasadam like juice or soup for you, massaging your sweet feet, back, and head, and in serving you in so many other ways. At that time, we coined the phrase, well, we called ourselves your Team Syamali, as we had all come together just for you. Then, with further reflection, we said that Team Syamali was not just for us, who were directly with you, but that this term applied to every individual, whether family members, friends, or all of the kind well-wishers who extended their love, service, and offerings to you from around the whole world. We considered further on the topic and stated that Indra Swami had been leading us as Team Syamali through his loving dedication and caring for you and Bhishma, and for the kind counseling and guidance he gave to all of us from the time we came to know of your illness. Another leading soul for Team Syamali was our Badrinarayan Swami from your own hometown of New Govardhan, who is also known and cared for your well-being since you were born to us. He also stayed close to you and Bhishma during this time to give you and all of us with you solace and loving support. You are such a wonderful soul that you deeply touch so many hearts with your kindness, your love, and your devotion. And I pray to always be thought of as a member of your sweet Team Syamali. When I got a call of loving support from our dear friend Radhanath Swami, after your departure, he said so many kind words that were a solace to my heart. In his speaking to me, one thing he said really stood out based on his own experience of being there for his dear friend Bhakti Tirtha Swami every day for 2 months before and up to the time of his departure. He said how he had always had a loving relationship with his dear friend Bhakti Tirtha Swami, but that during the time he spent with him as he was preparing to leave this world, that his relationship and connection with Bhakti Tirtha Swami had grown even deeper in their love and affection for each other. I could relate very much to what he said, as I also feel that, and I know Bhishma and all of us who are with you, feel that even though we have always had a loving relationship ourselves as father and daughter, and Bhishma as husband, and all of this in our relationships with you, my personal appreciation, our appreciation for you, and my love for you grew even deeper in the recent months leading to your own departure from this world, as we were able to come even closer in so many special ways. You were so endearing during these last few months. You were so full of love and gratitude as you focused your mind with determination and your heart in how to leave this world and go back to your eternal home in the spiritual realm of Goloka Vrindavan. In one of the moments we had together, we expressed our love for each other, and I said to you that I will miss you so much and how much I wish that you did not have to go. You looked at me in a very sweet way, and you said in an apologetic tone, you said, "Oh, but I have to go." You said it in such a gentle way, as you did not want to hurt my feelings. I then said to you in reply, "Dear angel, we know you have to go, but I and all of us here, we will miss you so very much. Please know that you do not have to feel bad at all. We understand that you are preparing to go back to Krishna, and that we are here with you because we love you, and we are here to help you to get back to Krishna in every way we can. Angel, you were so special and so endearing here and in so many ways. We'll always miss you being here with us, but we are also very happy for you in that you are certainly now in a better place, engaged in devotional service under Krishna's loving care." A few days ago, I received a very sweet letter of condolence from your wonderful spiritual master, Indra Swami. In that letter, he conveyed so many kind and loving words. One part of the letter that I want to share here with you, and it goes as follows. Your Guru Maharaj Indra Swami wrote, "She, Syamali, was everything to all of us and something special to each of us." These words coming from him made a wonderful point of how you connected with each of us who knew you in a special loving way. I was reflecting on this and how you were and still are special to all of us as a most wonderful loving daughter and sister to your siblings, a sincere, dedicated, and loving disciple of Indra Swami, a sweet devotee of Krishna, a wonderful loving wife to your wonderful husband Bhishma, a disciple of Indra Swami, a wonderful child who grew up surrounded by a very caring community who all loved you here in New Govardhan, San Diego, as a dear member of the Alachua Temple and the Krishna House families, as one who connected in your life so lovingly with all of your relatives, your grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins, a kind and special friend with all of the friends you had made while growing up, and all of the friends you came to know throughout your whole life. And finally, as a very kind soul, who by nature was able to connect in a genuine way with the hearts of all who came to know you. Dear Syamali, I love you so much. I will never forget you, and I will always keep you with me every day through remembering you within my heart, even though it may often bring tears, and through our being able to stay connected beyond all the limits of time and space through Krishna's sweet, holy names. I am so grateful and thankful to Srila Prabhupada and to Krishna to have been so fortunate as to have had you in my life. My dear sweet Syamali, I miss you so very much, and I will love you always. Gita.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you for raising such a beautiful, dedicated devotee of a daughter. And thank you for all your love and support that you gave in the last months. Thank you. And her mother's also. Next, we would like to call upon Syamali's sister, Janaki Devi Dasi. If you could unmute yourself.
So I'm reading on behalf of me and our sister Janaki, my husband. I'm Janaki, my sister Ajita, and my husband Sean is here. He'll be a little too, and my daughter Nadia. Dear Syamali, Goracharani. I remember when you would come to spend the weekends at our house. The image that has been coming into my mind so often over the past few months is your little face with its freckles and big brown eyes, peering over the edge of the bed like a little fawn, watching and willing us to wake up so that we could turn on Saturday morning cartoons, hoping your lazy older sisters wouldn't wake up too late for Winnie the Pooh. Ajita remembers that when you got a little older, while you were waiting for us to wake up, you would borrow the books we were reading and try to read as much as possible before we demanded them back. She remembers that when you were little, she liked to make you her own little live doll, dressing you up in fanciful outfits put together from our big chest of play clothes, mostly prasadam outfits from Radhagiri Hari. You said you remember that she would order you not to touch her things. So you would wait till you had a moment all alone in the room and then put your little hands on as many of her things as possible. I remember that you would have slumber parties for your birthday. Your living room floor would be completely filled up with sleeping bags and little girls all crowded up together. We would have your mata's homemade pizza, stay up late, and run around the courtyard behind your house well into the night, feeling wild and daring to be outside so late in the dark. Those parties were so much fun. I always look forward to it. I remember your mata telling me that the two of you would read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita together before bed every night, working your way through all the volumes. And I thought that sounded wonderful. I've always loved your mata, an exemplary Brahmana lady who has always been a kind friend and mentor to me. I remember that instead of a Halloween party, our Gurukul would have a Govardhan Puja costume party. We would dress up as characters from Krishna book or Mahabharata or Ramayana or Srimad Bhagavatam, and you had the most amazing costumes. I remember that one year you were Lord Shiva, one year you were a truly terrifying Yamaduta. You wore that one trick-or-treating. I remember when you were learning to play the flute and you would bring it to our place and practice new songs for us. You were always so determined you would practice diligently even on the weekends. I remember that sometimes you would go to Home Depot with your father, and then the two of you would come back and spend the rest of the day in the garage working on a project together. I remember all of us gathering around my mama, lounging on her bed together, just talking and catching up. Ajita remembers when the two of you went to visit our Aunt Yashoda and her family in Hawaii. She was 18 and you were just 14. The trip had a rocky beginning when the airline lost your luggage. Even your flute was in there. But that didn't stop it from being a wonderful month in Waikiki. She remembers beautiful hikes, days spent lounging on Hawaiian beaches and playing in warm waters, nights swimming in the moonlight with you in paradise. She remembers our little cousins, Jai, Shrivas, and Prema, playing with and decorating your hair so that the both of you would come away with heads full of bows, ribbons, and little braids. I remember going shopping for your prom dress. You and Ajita and I all tried on dresses just for fun. Everything looked beautiful on you. There was one dress I remember in particular, a corset top with flaring layered tulle skirts, all in dramatic autumn colors that offset all that gorgeous auburn hair of yours. It was the one I would have chosen for you because I thought you looked as glamorous as a Paris runway model, but that wasn't what you were going for. Your attraction always was towards Sat Vagoon, and you chose a pale lavender satin covered in little sparkling gems. We curled your hair into ringlets that cascaded down your back, and you left our house that evening looking like a fairy tale princess. I remember that we all learned to love English literature together, especially Jane Austen. And when I think of that, I think how you were the definition of a really accomplished woman. A musician with a beautiful singing voice, a talented artist, a joyful and inventive cook, literate, intelligent, and always, always graceful, refined, and cultured. Even when you were angry or frustrated, I've never heard you say a vulgar word. And you were a talented actress too. I loved to cast you in leading roles because of your clear, strong voice and long, graceful gestures. You were our Hanuman, our Sudhama, our Lord Balaram, our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as I write this, I can't stop crying because I honestly did think that we might do plays together again someday. Sean.
I remember the summer you lived in an apartment near our place. Sometimes on the weekends, Johnny and she lived at the zoo, you'd come over. We'd go out for a bite, something to eat, talk in the afternoons, talk about life, talk about teaching.
Can you speak up a little bit? We can hardly hear you. Thanks.
You were always very interested in everything. You always found interest in everybody and what they had to say as well. Later on, we'd both go and pick Johnny up from the zoo after her shift. I remember helping you move once, twice, a few times. Even my brother, coming from South America, came and helped on one of your moves. It was quite fun. But I always enjoyed helping you out any way I could. I remember once when my coworkers asked me if I knew any good girls, and I said, as a matter of fact, I do. And I mentioned you, but I told them she's a very good girl, so watch out. She's a good girl. I have a very vivid memory of once me and Johnny had been out shopping together. She bought a painting and she put it in the front entrance. I didn't particularly like it at the moment, and I made some thoughtless remark. I remember immediately getting this teacher look from you, and it kind of wasn't quite used to that look, but it kind of set me back in my place on there. So I remember you always having a very effective teacher look. I remember so many things about you.
You were gentle in all your dealings with others, but simultaneously a strong-willed, determined, and independent woman. A firm, authoritative, and deeply caring teacher. I know from personal experience how difficult classroom teaching can be. I remember that sometimes when you came to visit during those first few years of teaching, we would see that you had become so thin from the stress. When we talked, you would express your anxieties and frustrations. You had the highest of standards for yourself as a teacher and wanted the very best for your students, wanted them to be aware of and reach for their potential. I know it was hard, but you were always a person who carried out your duties with fierce determination and love that the people around you could feel. The proof is in the pudding, sweet girl. In recent days, I've got to read beautiful prayers and offerings of love from many of your former students and families. They won't forget you. You were such an adventurer. I remember that you were so brave when you went alone to study in England for a semester. You were a young girl, but you fearlessly navigated that metropolis, made friends with its people, found Sri Sri Radha Landanishvara and Govinda's huge lunch tallies, and then guided me around it all when I came to visit you. Sean surprised me with that trip out to visit you. I guess the two of you planned it out together, and I've always remembered it as one of the best trips of my life. A couple of days in London, Big Ben lit up in the moonlight, Trafalgar Square, the Tower, Portobello Road, Dickens House, walking everywhere together, and then on to a tour of Ireland. I remember how your organization and thorough planning made travel easy. I'm the older sister, but I felt taken care of by you. Everything was so nicely arranged. The tour itinerary, the hostels we stayed at, the places for good vegetarian food scoped out. I remember we searched for Govindas in Dublin for well over an hour before Google Maps days. But how fun was the search, wandering around the cobblestone streets together. And the reward was the most curd-filled subji we've ever had, I guess from all those super shaggy cows we scattered over the fields of Ireland. Ajita remembers your Euro trip together. She remembers seeing Shakespeare's As You Like It at the Old Globe, hunting through the heat in the streets of Bath for the veggie restaurant you had researched and were determined to find. 5 hours spent marveling and meandering through the Louvre. One of the most magical memories of her life is running with you in the moonlight through the streets of Venice towards the sound of Andrea Bocelli singing live in the Piazza San Marco. She remembers a particularly frightening night lost in Paris, the expected bus having stopped running, the long walk in the dark, sticking close together and chanting the Shringadev prayers. I remember how impressed I was, maybe a little jealous, when you made and carried out plans to go on Indradumna Maharaj's Polish summer tour. Years earlier, my friends and I had dreamed and planned to go, but we never made it. But you did it. You brilliant, determined, adventurous girl, you did it. For several years running, you made the tour the focus of your yearly planning. I love to imagine you there, helping with the prasadam, playing your flute on Harinam, taking part in the stage dramas. It sounded like so much hard work and so much nectar. And then you took shelter of Indradumna Maharaj. How appropriate that you, brave adventurer and traveler, would find your Gurudev in the real-life Hare Krishna Indiana Jones. Just a few days ago, I saw for the first time the video of your initiation on your memorial page. Your face in that video just pulls at my heart. You're so sweet, so shy, so hopeful and trusting. It all shines in your face. And who could have been more worthy? How will all we who love you ever be able to repay your Guru Maharaj for his shelter and unlimited mercy during this time? For the hours he spent reading and chanting with you, for the webinars he has been broadcasting straight from Vrindavan that have been a source of immense comfort during this time, and for literally carrying you from this world into Krishna's arms with the power of the holy name in your ear at the moment of your leaving. Yesterday was Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and one of the devotees read a memory in which Prabhupada explained that the relationship between spiritual master and disciple is eternal, that they know each other in the spiritual world, and that when you get back to Krishna, the spiritual master puts your hand in Krishna's hand and makes the introduction. I feel like we have the proof of that process in your leaving. Thank you, Maharaj, with all my heart. For the last decade or so, we haven't seen as much of each other. You went to live and teach in Alachua and also in Dallas for a while. You have been traveling the world and all over the states, visiting temples, participating in festivals, and forming an extensive international spiritual family. Over the last several months, the outpouring of love and prayers from all over the world has been a balm for our hearts. Thank you to all these wonderful, loving devotees. I feel like it's not so surprising after all, seeing how many people you have touched and inspired, because speaking with you always inspires me. Even when we don't speak for a long time, thinking of you and Bhishma and all the wonderful spiritual activities you're involved in uplifts my heart. And now our hearts are breaking because we won't be able to speak to you again in this lifetime. How do we bear it? Even if we haven't seen as much of each other over these last years, there are still some beautiful memories. My daughter Nadia remembers when you did the face painting at her 7th birthday. All the tigers, puppies, and even a giraffe that you patiently and smilingly made up. She remembers hiking down to the Mission Trails Dam with you and Grandpa Jamuna. She said that she would think that you were just like Grandpa Jamuna, always kind and gentle and good-humored. She also remembers your wedding and the wedding brunch we held here at our house. It was a fancy brunch when we brought out all our best crystal and tableware, We put white tulips out on the tables. We finally got to use the embroidered placemats and napkins we had been gifted at our own wedding. We wanted everything to be perfect for you. It was such a beautiful wedding. You were such a beautiful bride. You and Bijma cooked for the brunch and the wedding feast with your own hands, and that became a theme for the two of you, distributing delicious prasadam to family and friends wherever you went. How grateful we are that Krishna sent this amazing young man and devotee to be your husband and best friend. When the two of you began spending time together, you became devoted to each other so quickly, and since then have been so well matched in your personalities, in your life goals and spiritual aspirations, that I would think maybe you were simply picking up where you left off in a relationship from a previous life. You were the best of companions, brought the best out in each other, and distributed Krishna's mercy wherever you went together. My own father's family will never forget how the two of you attended my grandmother's last rites and led an intensely powerful and sweet kirtan that soothed the grief in our hearts. We are eternally grateful. In this life, your time together has been cut short, but your eternal relationship can only have deepened. This time has been the hardest of my life, and I can only imagine how it must be for the person who has been used to your constant companionship and who has now lost it. But I have been blown away by his unwavering love and his determination that you have the very best and most auspicious of passings from this world into Krishna's hands. Thank you, Bhishma. We love you. I got to see firsthand the wonderful care he was taking for you when I went out with your pizza to spend a week with you towards the end of June. Those days spent reading and chanting with you and Bhishma, with Jamuna and with your mata, all of us taking turns massaging your hands and feet, will be with me for the rest of my days. I have no doubt that after spending your last months immersed in Radha Krishna's names, forms, and pastimes, that you are with them, taking part in their beautiful pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan right now. And sometimes I feel only gratitude for them. But other times I feel, what about us who are bereft of your company now? Sometimes the reality that we will never get to see you again in this life comes crashing down like an unbearable weight. How will we bear it? I think maybe only with the love, the mercy, and the prayers of all the assembled Vaishnavas. We miss you, sweet girl. We will always miss you until we see you again. We love you, your family, Janaki, Ajita, Shan, and Nadia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking Syamali under your wing as your younger sister. Thank you for all your love. Next, we would like to call upon Chadaratma Prabhu to speak. Can unmute your mic, please. Okay, while we're waiting for him, let's go on to the next person then. How about Param Prabhu? Would you like to speak next? Just unmute yourself, please. Okay, while we're waiting for him, let's go on to the next person then. How about Param Prabhu? Would you like to speak next?
Hi, Ball.
Just unmute yourself, please.
Am I still muted?
Okay, while we're waiting for him, let's go on to the next person. Okay, there's a repeat echo. So.
Madam Prabhu, maybe you Param Prabhu, maybe you have Facebook or YouTube on along with this Zoom call. That's why there is a loop. Can you please come out of all other apps in your phone or computer, and then you will be able to speak. When Param is doing that, can we go on to the next person, please?
Yes, we'd like to ask Shamadarshini Prabhu to speak.
Shamadarshini.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We can't see you.
Now? Can you see me now?
Okay.
Dearest Syamali, please accept my loving obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our spiritual master. I see your smiling face now, just as I had when I saw you in the temple for the first time. You were a radiant soul, and I was drawn to speak to you. I learned that you had just moved to the new Ramanreti community, and you were a teacher, just like me. I was overjoyed that I had taken the opportunity to speak with you. Over the years, we shared Rath Yatras, Kartik Parikramas, Prashadam, weddings, and festivals together. I look up to you in so many ways. You were the perfect disciple, humble, loving, taking on the mood of your spiritual master and sharing Krishna consciousness, and a leader among the youth. Each year, I heard your Vyasa Puja offering to our Gurudev. I was continually in awe of your depth of understanding of the position of the spiritual master, along with the personal nature of your relationship with him. It was always an offering of the heart, which left one feeling deeply grateful. Everyone could tell that you were focused. You knew what you wanted and where you wanted to go. You didn't have to say anything or be preachy. You were loving, relatable, kind, and humble. Yet, your being emanated the drive and direction you constantly held within. You showed this drive most notably in your final test. When my family came to visit you weeks after you found out that your body had a terminal disease, we asked how you were taking the news. You gave us the rundown, almost mechanically, saying that at first there was shock, and then the why me question, and now with time to process, you had come to terms with it. Somehow, I did not believe you. In conversation with another devotee later, I learned that you indeed had lied to us. You didn't grieve and ask why this was happening to you. You had simply understood the fact that this body was no longer fit for you, and therefore you immediately began focusing your mind on your next destination. During our visit, you were sitting there calm and composed, almost as if you were already in the spiritual world. There was a complete sense of detachment about you. In fact, you were the one consoling us in this time of impending separation. You told us that we need not lament the early onslaught of this terrible disease, because no matter when in life we have to leave the body, it isn't easy. Therefore, it made no difference if it is now or decades away. You are truly glorious, Syamali. This fact is proven yet another way. Because of your strong determination in Krishna consciousness, you deserved only the best partner in life. Our wonderful all-knowing Krishna sent you Bhishmadev Prabhu to support you in this most significant moment in your life. Bhishmadev Prabhu has always been the smiliest, loving, happy devotee. The depth of his happiness in Krishna consciousness became clear as we all saw him care for you in these last months. Throughout, he never lost his glow. His love for you was of a spiritual nature because it was selfless. He was thinking of everyone but himself. Along with caring for you full time, he cared for all the devotees who were feeling your separation before you even left. He continually updated us lovingly and personally responded to our messages and gave us ways to connect with you. You would be so proud to see how he cheered you on when you left. He told the devotees how you had done it, how you made it through the best consciousness and supportive environment. It is my belief that Bhishmadev Prabhu is an angel sent to help you on your journey home. Dearest Syamali, you have left a shining light in your wake, a strong example of deep faith. Right now, your absence is deafening. How can it be that you are gone? We were just sharing laughs together, and you were telling me how you and Bhishmadev were making preparations with your air fryer, and how you were working together in his business. How is it that I am not going to see your smiling face playing the flute in our Gurudev's kirtan? Dear Syamali, I miss you. Maybe one day when my turn comes, you can send me blessings to be able to pass the test with as much focus and determination as you had. With love and gratitude, Shamadarshini Devi Dasi.
Thank you, Shamadarshini. That was very nice. Next, Param, are you able to unmute yourself?
Are you unmuting or people unmuting themselves?
Param?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can't see you though.
Oh. Let me see here. Can you see me now? Can you guys see me?
I'm getting nods, yes.
Okay. Haribol, my name is Parameshwari. I can't speak from a philosophical platform or from a spiritual platform. I just want to speak from my heart. I've known Syamali since I was 6 years old. And I know her as Gora Pakora. And I just want to say that this has been really hard for me, as it is for everybody that knows her and loves her, because there's no one like her, as everybody knows and how everybody's said. She's such a kind person and a loving person, and I've never have been in the presence of someone that's just so supportive and loving in any kind of way. We would walk to school together every day, from middle school to high school. We would ride the bus together, and she was always so happy and, you know, always prepared for the day. And even when, you know, she had like a big test or something like that, she was always positive and always, you know, ready for it. Everything, you know, everything came easy to her. You know, I know she worked hard for it, but it just came easy to her. She was so smart and funny and loving. And, you know, I remember I wanted to play the flute because she played the flute, you know, and it's like, I couldn't play the flute, you know, Syamali was just incredible at playing the flute. So I just, not having her presence in my life is really hard, as it is hard for everybody. You know, I shared a really close relationship with her because we were neighbors for most of my life. We lived down the street from each other, and we spent all major holidays together. And, you know, it's a hard time for everybody that loves her, and the people that are around her and know her presence just miss her dearly. I know that in Krishna consciousness, we like to think that, you know, people are here with us for a certain amount of time to show us, you know, and guide us, to help us to be closer to Krishna. But selfishly, I really miss my friend. And I think about her every day. Sorry. And I don't know how Bhishma and her family are so strong, because I'm so weak, because I miss my friend, and I selfishly want her physically with me, even though I know she's in Krishna's hands. But I just really miss my friend, and I'm just so thankful for everybody that is here and supporting, you know, we're supporting each other in this really hard time. So thank you. And, you know, Syamali was just an incredible person, and she never judged anybody. She never, you know, she had a strong character, and she was such a strong person, and she knew who she was, and she never let anything, you know, move her mind from what she wanted and where she, you know, she was just an amazing person. And I want to be better devotee, mother, sister, friend, daughter because of her. I want to be a better person because of her and her friendship. And I just think I'm so thankful that I have her in my life, and I'm thankful for the memories, and the memories is what will carry me on to the next day and what have been carrying me on every day. So I just thank you, to her dad and her mom and her sisters for all the wonderful memories, and, the plays in San Diego, and, going trick-or-treating. And I just miss her, and listening to everybody talk about her. And I'm sorry I can't be spiritual. I'm sorry I can't say anything, but I just miss my friend. But I'm happy that I'm here to hear everybody saying how amazing she was. So thank you for the time, and thank you for arranging this for us.
Thank you very much, Parmeshwari Prabhu. Thank you for the memories. Thank you. Next, we'd like to call upon Bhadra Prabhu. You just have.
Am I okay?
Yes, I can't see you, but we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but we can't see you.
You can see me, I know. I can see everybody.
Okay, now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhuttalaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinam Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pachari Nirvishai Shashrimevadi Pashyata Desatari Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Syamali Mataji, you were my assistant, you know that, in the Rath Yatras. And you were very, as your friend told, just I heard, you had a strong character and strong person. I can see that now, working with you. And you were a gentle soul at the same time. I know that. And you were very meticulous. You were so into details. You were assisting me in the theater project. And remember when we did the first Gasparilla parade, you are the one who was the instrument for that Gasparilla parade. And you and the Vishwadev, the two both are the pillars of Rath Yatra for arranging so many things. And you and Vishwadev is the one who had arranged for this first Gasparilla parade, everything. And of course, I'm thankful to Vishwadev Prabhu that he allowed me to talk to her last couple of days ago before you left this mortal world. And I told you, you have served to Lord Jagannath, so you are with Lord Jagannath. There is no doubt about it. You have served Lord Jagannath. And I also joke with you, remember that when you go up, you tell Srila Prabhupada that I was working as an assistant for this stupid guy Bhadra, and he's rotting in this material world. So please pray, tell him that, bring him up. So you are with Lord Jagannath, no doubt about it. Because you have served, that's what you did all your life. And the pure souls, as we see, your parents are devotees, and your husband is a devotee, and you all, these pure souls, comes for a while in this material world, does some service and just go back to Godhead. And rotten like us, stay here, continue. Anyhow, we have some more work to do, devotional service, isn't it? But anyhow, you are up there, and I'm very happy. Of course, I miss you. And when you were here in Gaze, when you were staying in Alachua, then I had always wanted you to serve, but I understand you and Vishnu wanted to have a family, And I understand that. And then he moved out to Gainesville. And in Gainesville also he kept serving. And at the same time, he also participated in the theatres. And Pushma Dev is one of the pillar who takes the pictures and videos and all these things. I'm grateful to him also. So I'm going to miss you, but at the same time, I'm happy that you are in service of Lord Jagannath there. And please, as I said when we talk, please forgive me for my offenses, because one times in the management, I have to little bit forceful, and I'm forceful, but at the same time, you are also a strong person, strong character. And thank you for rendering service, and thank you. And you are with Lord Jagannath, and please forgive me for my offenses. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Prabhu. Thank you for telling us the Lord Jagannath pastimes with her. We didn't know. Okay, next I would like to call upon Syamali's friend from college, Michelle Hanlon, please. You can unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Somebody had to authorize my unmute. I feel so honored to speak here today. Thank you for unmuting me to give me the opportunity.
Sure.
Syamali, you are one of my dearest and oldest friends. You gave me so much during our friendship, including both your trust and your guidance, your love and your compassion. We met in college, where you were a super smart, very kind young woman with a unique name, just trying to find yourself like the rest of us. And when we were in college, we had all of the usual adventures. You taught me what good vegetarian food was, because salad is not a meal. You helped me pass Spanish literature. Syamali would read it in Spanish and I'd have to read it in English. Shame to admit, Param already talked about how amazing she was and everything she did. I coaxed you into traveling abroad, and you went to England, and then you used my luggage more than I used it after that. So we unleashed a great traveler within you. And we shared music and spent time on the beach, and we stayed up with friends, late being silly. And as we got older together, we stayed close friends, which I cherished. And I often enjoyed letters from your travels. You sent me to India. You taught me more about Krishna consciousness. Eventually, we would both meet and marry our husbands on nearly the exact same timelines, which was very fun for us to share. And we were in each other's weddings, which was absolutely beautiful for both of us as well. I will always say that your and Bhishma's wedding was my favorite after my own. Bhishma was such an excellent addition to your life. He was the spiritual partner you needed, and being married helped both of us be happy and healthy lives. Plus the prasadam just got better. Talk about incredible food. These two foodies brought their game. And that is how I knew when you told me that you didn't have an appetite anymore, that things were really not good. Because you were always hungry. So I did what any good closet Krishna would do. I got out my Bhagavad Gita and I did some reading. And it really helped me to understand that all of the qualities that I loved about you, that I found so amazing, your infinite well of goodness that we all clearly admire. And this kindness that you had was rooted in your Krishna consciousness and your friendship and relationship with Krishna, and that it was your time. And you accepted that much better than the rest of us have, except for somehow Bhishma seems to understand at a higher level. But that said, I will miss you every day for the rest of my life until we meet again. And I will look back so fondly on all of our decade plus of very special memories. So thank you for being such an important part of my life. I will love you always. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the closeness that you revealed to us. Very nice. Thank you. Next, we would like to call on Surit and Hanan Prabhu. You have to unmute yourself, Surit. Surit?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. We don't see us, but
yes, we see you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Just wanted to say thank you to Syamali from both of us. We had the good fortune to become Bhishmadev and Syamali neighbors in the last 8 months. So we kind of got to know Syamali better at the last few months. And I want to appreciate, first of all, her kindness, and then also speak a little bit about her confidence. And when they moved to the neighborhood, we invited them for dinner and they came to some home programs we made. And one of the things I will always remember is how kind and careful Syamali would always speak to me. Like the first thing she was always saying is something, oh, I heard this service you did is so nice. And oh, I heard this about you, I heard that. And I always felt very warm and welcomed, even though I didn't know her much, just by her ability to speak in a very sweet way. Then after some time, we didn't see them walking in the neighborhood. So my wife texted Bhishmadev and we found out she had cancer. And I was amazed, both of us are amazed by the confidence she showed all the way through. And confidence is one of the important qualities of a devotee, and I think she really exemplified it to both of us when we would see them walking in the neighborhood, in text. She always had a lot of confidence that she's going back home, back to Godhead. She can tolerate the suffering, and she's very grateful to everyone, even of very small things we did. And that confidence went and kind of spread in the whole neighborhood. So it will tell a small story about it.
I just actually, unfortunately, didn't really have a lot of time to get to know her. But about a couple of days before she left, I walked in the morning, and I walked with another devotees that shared their house with them, and we kind of stopped right before in front of the house, and the neighbor met us, and she said, "How are they doing? Is she still there?" And she heard from them. I mean, I didn't know Ben then, and she said yes, and I told her that she's still there, and she said, tell them that I all the time think about them and pray for them, and then the next day, and then she told me how she's always so philosophical, but then she said, but in a good way, and how she really loved her all the time, and she saw her with her skirts and all that. She really loved how she looks, and she always commented on that. And then the next day, that was Sunday when she passed, and then the following day I met that neighbor again, and then I told her, do you know? I told her actually she now left, and she said, yeah, I know. I just went there. I was there just when they took her body, and Bhishmadev called me, and she said, Bhishma called me, and he handed me a flower to give her, and she said it touched me so much, and I was the only one crying there, and I really, it's really, really touched me very strongly. And then the day after I talked to her again, and she said, I looked up the Hare Krishna and the whole experience, how she, how she kind of passed away was really affecting me. And I thought that really, a lot from what I heard, because I didn't have that much association with her, that she was really sharing Krishna consciousness, sharing her love in her life. And then she really showed her love and Krishna consciousness when she left, and we really appreciate that also, how she touched people that didn't even know and didn't have any idea.
Yeah. And thank you to Bishmadev and Syamali for updating us. And after she left, we found this card in our mailbox. So thinking about all those details and always responding. And yeah.
Thank you very much for
Syamali.
sharing. Appreciate it. Thank you. Next, I would like to call upon Mother Prashupati, please. Mother Prashupati, please unmute.
Quite a few people. Yeah. Well, Jagadish and Sudichi. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay, we can hear something. Mother Prashupati? Okay, she said, okay. Amrita Kelly, would you like to speak now?
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you so much. This was, it's such an honor to hear these very intimate memories of Syamali. What a window into this personality who has become famous all over the world. I wanted to, I'm going to read. I'd like to extend my obeisances to Bhishmadev Prabhu and Syamali's family and closest friends who have shown and continue to teach us how to support our fellows unconditionally in our journeys toward our own self-realization and our reconnection with the Lord and the spiritual world. Well, I know you, Bhishmadev Prabhu, and your glorious wife, Syamali, somewhat peripherally and through many friendly, short, affectionate conversations at the temple and even on WhatsApp. I have been deeply and unexpectedly touched by your example of selfless service put to the greatest test of urgency, of surrender, of true love in devotional service. Your journey together these last few months has shown me the only proof I need that Krishna consciousness works, that it's a perfect process, that it leads to fearlessness and vulnerability and raw openness to divine will, and that we can achieve all the glory and the supreme destination that Srila Prabhupada has promised us if we follow in footsteps like yours. About a little over a year ago, my little sister passed away from leukemia, and she battled it tooth and nail until the very end, and it was a very, very fearful and painful process for her. And Bhishmadev and Syamali reached out with so many other devotees, sending prayers and chanting and well wishes, and she felt really comforted by that, especially towards the end. Hearing that Syamali was facing the same fate came like a shockwave to me and brought back a lot of emotion. And getting to hear how she was transitioning was so healing for me in light of my experience, and brought me so much joy and change. I want to also express my deepest sympathy in your extraordinary loss. Syamali was a soft, graceful, and unmatched personality who has endeared herself to thousands of friends and devotees and the most exalted souls in our devotional family. We feel that perhaps the depth of your realizations, grief, and transformation through this process will journey deeper and deeper in the months and years to come. Please know that our sincere and constant prayer, this is to the family, is that you feel our tangible and continual support as you continue on your own journeys through life with Srila Prabhupada and your Lord. We wish only to give you the same care, upliftment, inspiration, and love that Syamali gave to all of us through her life, preparation, and her departure, and that you gifted to us as you walked that road together with her so beautifully. Please accept all my obeisances at your lotus feet. Your grateful servant, Amrita Kili Dasi.
Thank you very much, Amrita Kaling. That was very nice. Very nice. We have a couple minutes left. Is there anybody else who would like to say the final few words before I have a little something I can say about her too? Okay, so if you do, then you can raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to say a little bit. So I worked with Syamali at the charter school where she taught language arts. She didn't think of her classroom as a job, rather as devotional service, as an opportunity to influence the lives of both devotees and non-devotee students, because we had about a 40-60 break there. She was loving and kind to her students. She and Bhishma Dev were also my neighbors for several years. I got to see firsthand how they were serious about their sadhana, even going to the morning program while they held full-time jobs. She came a few times to the ladies' bhajans I would hold at our house even after working all day, and blissfully play her flute there. What a great loss for us, but I understand she has gone on to another very important service for Krishna. Nevertheless, I will miss her. So is there anybody else then before we close up?
How about Mother Pashupati? What's happening with
She changed her mind.
Okay.
Chadaratma Prabhu, would you like to say something? Okay, I guess not. So we would like to thank everyone for joining us this evening and celebrating Her Grace Syamali Devi Dasi's life. She will live on in our hearts through the legacy she's left with us. We very much appreciate that His Holiness Indrajit Swami was so personal by sharing his love for his surrendered daughter, Syamali Devi Dasi, by joining us this evening. And thank you also to Bhishma Dev Prabhu for taking such good care of her and her family, parents and sisters and brother-in-law and in-laws as well. So thank you to all. Syamali Devi Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada.
Thank you all so much.